celebrate their 60th anniversary. So thank you. Now, since 1959, what's happened? Well, there's been 11 Prime Ministers, 15 World Cup football tournaments and 14 Olympics. In 1959, Harold Macmillan was Prime Minister. Britain, Turkey and Greece signed the Cypriot independence. NASA, they interviewed 110 candidates for a space project. Texas Instruments, they patented the first integrated circuit board. And in entertainment, Sleeping Beauty and Some Like It Hot with Marilyn Monroe premiered. So, I think you'd all agree, 60 years is a hell of a long time to be together. And that was acknowledged on Thursday with a card from the Queen, which I think you've all probably seen or spoken about, and also a visit from Yate Town's mayor. And I think he was with my mum and dad for 45 minutes having a bit of a chat. But you'll all be asking, well, how did it all begin? Well, it all began back in 24th of May, 1958, where my mum and dad met at the Ritz in Manchester. And back in those days, there wasn't any social media, there wasn't any Tinder, no photo shopping, no nothing like that. So you used to go along to these dances to meet people. And that's what happened. That's where my mum and dad met, gazed across the dance floor. And you can remember back then, there wasn't any disco. That hadn't been invented. Rock and roll was in its infancy, and I mean, you've been hearing some music played to you today, and Buddy Holly was probably what Ed Sheeran is today, and Ellie Goulding is probably Connie Francis, if anyone recognises Connie Francis. So yeah, that's where they met, and then 11 months later they got married on the 4th of April, 2 p.m. in Manchester, and my mum had 3 bridesmaids, her niece Shirley and her best friend Beryl. And Carol, where's Carol? Well, actually, it's very fortunate that we're in this position at the moment. So if I press the pause button on my mum and dad's speech, because it's actually Carol's 69th birthday today. Oh. So I think as she walks in, we've all got to see. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Carol. Happy birthday to you. Sorry, Carl, I didn't realise you'd gone off. You missed the best bit. It's all horrible. So where was I? Oh yeah, so they met. So 11 months after they first met, they got married on the 4th of April, 2 p.m. in Manchester. Carol, as we know, was one of my mum's bridesmaids. My dad's best man was his brother Joe. Unfortunately, Joe's not around anymore, so he's not here today. So then, a bit of background. At the time, my dad was in the Navy, and family life sort of began not long after they got married, with Paul being born in February 1960, and that was the sort of catalyst for my dad to ditch the Navy, so he did, and he then became a bus conductor in a local bus company, and then he became a driver. And then along pops Elaine in 1963 in January, and I don't know how many can remember back in 1963. I can't because I wasn't born then, but apparently it was the really cold winter, very cold, and there was still snow hanging around until May apparently. So then in 1964, I think, Dad and his brother Joe decided Manchester wasn't quite what they wanted it to be, so they travelled down to Bristol to look for work. And with my dad's naval background, he used to do the mechanics on the Hunter engines on the boats. He got a job at Bristol City Engines, which we all now know is Rolls-Royce. So with getting the job, he said, "Come on, Rhoda, come on down, bring the kids down." So Paul, my mum and Elaine all then moved down to Bristol, and they lived in a one-bed flat in Kingsdown Parade. And they were there for a while and they decided that they wanted to buy a house. So my dad took a second job working for Lewis's, selling strawberries. And then 1965 they had enough money and they bought a house in an up-and-coming town called Yates, which is where, well, we're actually in Yates, we're in Chippewa, but you know where Yates is. And then with every new house comes a new baby, and in a World Cup year in 1966, I come along. And I think Yates was a fantastic place to grow up because everybody was in the same boat, everybody had young families, and it had that real sort of pioneer feel about it. And like with all families, we were all influenced by what was happening at the time, what was going on the TV. And I've got a few things here. So swimming, Dad used to take us to Kingswood swimming pool because Yates wasn't built then. And I think my mum was working and us kids would be pestering all the time. Dad, show us what you used to do when you were on the Ark Royal, Dad. So apparently when they used to dock their boats, my dad would do a swan dive off the side of the Ark Royal. Yeah, apparently. So we was pestering, Dad, every single week, Dad, dive off the top diving board. So there's one day he said, right, okay, I'm going to do it. And sure enough, he swam right up to the deep end, got out, perched on the high board, and he dived off, absolutely beautiful. But then he over-rotated and landed smack on his back. And then he then swam over to us kids. And he said, don't ever ask me to do that again. Yeah. So in 1972, The Good Life was on. And in true good life style, my mum and dad decided to dig up the back garden and plant potatoes. 1974, there was a baker strike, so my mum got into baking bread. And there's nothing like having a nice bit of warm bread as soon as it comes out of the oven. Unfortunately, we all used to suffer from the after effects of a little bit too much gas, but it was really nice. Also, 1976, it was the hottest summer since last summer, but it was really hot then. And my dad installed a dolphin shower, and that was on the back of John Noakes. And Blue Peter, remember him? He actually demonstrated it live on TV, where he got in the shower and he was demonstrating the benefits of having showers rather than baths. So on the back of that, Dad put a shower into our house, which is really nice. And then we had the Silver Jubilee in 1977, and my mum and Dad and all of us took part in the streets celebration. Mum and Dad took part in the Mums and Dads football, and I think there was a photograph up here just a while ago with George and my dad dressed up as women. And it was this role reversal thing. And the other thing I can remember, in 1978 with the World Cup, it was actually around George's house, George and Mary's house, because they had a colour TV, we didn't have a colour TV. And we were watching Scotland against Holland. Now, George is a massive Scotland fan, and being at Adams, we've probably got some ancestry back there as well. And Archie Gilmore, do you remember when he scored that mazy goal, got past all the defenders and then pulled the ball in? And my dad toppled off with his chair. Those are really, really fond memories. But also camping. We used to always go camping in the summer, and I was just saying to Jeff earlier on that, you know, when I was young, all I can remember is just going camping. I didn't know about all the logistics and all the different paraphernalia and all that sort of stuff. So there's 5 of us in the car in a red Morris 1100. God knows how they got all of the camping gear. Us kids, suitcases and all that sort of stuff. I don't know how you did it. Because you know the camping equipment in those days wasn't what it is today. It was those big canvas jobbies. How they fit it in the boot with us kids, I'll never know. But I used to really enjoy the camping. And the story that I do remember is coming back from Wales one time, we found this stray dog called Galloway. And so we said, oh, Mum, Dad, it's a stray dog, we've got to take it back to its owners, we've got to take it back to its owners. So we go, okay, we had a dog tag on and everything. So this dog got in the back with us and it farted the whole time. So much so that we had the window, our heads at the window, driving along. But we took it back. We took it back to the farm. It was a farmer's dog, and we took it back. And my dad went up to the farm. Oh, here's your dog. And the first thing the farmer did was just kick it out of the. Remember that? He kicks out of the yard. Get out of here, Galloway! And it was like, oh my God, we had all that effort for nothing. But it was a really, really fond memories. So back to what was going on at that time. My mum and dad, they got really involved in the local community. My mum helped set up the playgroup of Abbotswood. My dad became chairman of the Air Training Cadetship in Sudbury. My mum found a job in Boots, the chemist. And then we all moved from where we were in Longford, and we moved to Ferndown, where my mum and dad now live. In 2000, my mum retired from Boots after 29 years. My dad had taken voluntary redundancy from Rolls-Royce in 1991, and with the money that he got, he took his PSV coach licence, and he worked for a number of companies doing different sorts of driving jobs. And that's when he retired. So didn't retire and do nothing. The calling of the water was too much for my dad, so they got a little canal boat, and I think they really enjoyed their days out on the canal. It was moored in Sharpness, and my mum loved it because it gave her an opportunity to show off all her photographs of their grandchildren and kids and all those sorts of things that were going on. So I think they had really nice memories when they had that canal. But I think they even travelled up to Manchester, which was unbelievable. 4 miles an hour. How long did it take? How long did it take?
2 days.
Did it? Wow, crikey, well, it's a long time. So what do they do now? Well, my mum runs the craft club every Monday, and she has all her friends round. She's also very friendly with everybody in the neighbourhood. She always rings up, asks how everyone's getting on, whether anybody wants any stuff picked up from the shops. Does anybody want a lift to the doctors or hospital? And my dad, he still does his DIY, Mr. Fix-It. And he does his crosswords and jigsaw. So, like I said, isn't as heavy as what it used to be, but they still keep themselves busy. So we're all here today to celebrate my mum and dad's 60th anniversary, and I think they are loved and cherished by us all, friends and family. And I think Paul, Elaine, and myself are very privileged to have a mum and dad. Frog in my frog, or frog in my throat. We're very privileged to have you as our mum and dad, and also Rebecca, Laura, Louie and Grace. They're very proud to have you as grandparents. So I'd like to you all to raise a toast, if that's okay, to Rhoda and Bob, 60th anniversary, mum and dad. Yeah, well done.